Hi everyone, Meteorologist Joel Curtis with the Alaska Weather Show. This is for Thursday, August 8th. We only have one warning in effect right now statewide. That's a flood warning for the Yentna, Squintna, and Lake Creek area, and that'll be going on until about noon, let's say, on Saturday or so. Quite a lot of rainfall has moved into Alaska, and it's just now beginning to taper off in some areas. Particularly hit has been south central with this rain, and we've had a number of flood warnings in effect. Recovery operations are going on with the Juneau flood. Folks are really getting organized. There is mass sheltering going on. And quite a lot of work with Public Works trying to open up the roads and get everybody in there where they need to be. So on our fire weather scene, we have damp weather next week. It's going to really keep things really quite low. Rain continues to miss, however, the upper Tanana Valley where the fuels are a little bit dry from Eagle to Tok and Chisana. But light rains should dampen that scene and the deep dryness that's going on there. And the outlook is for wet weather forecasted through early next week, and that'll keep the fire danger at a minimum, and some moderate potential in the eastern interior. Also, I'll mention too that the fuels in the very southernmost part of southeast Alaska are a little bit on the dry side, and folks should be careful there. So let's take a look at our satellite image. There's that stream of moisture that has been going on for days, coming all the way from fairly low latitudes, let's say about 40 north or so. Brought a lot of heavy rains, and here's what the loop looks like. And so you can see that stream, but then there's also development going on in the Bering Sea. And honestly, that has really taken a lot of moisture all the way up to the Arctic. So here's our forecast weather map of what's going on today. So we have a 1,003 millibar low, that's out in the Bering Sea, and that's the leader of a more major system that's going to consolidate with that low and bring some wind and rain along with it. 1013 millibar low in the Gulf of Alaska associated with that stream of moisture, and then the remnants of a couple of lows, 1,005 millibars up by Utaqagvik. A couple of thunderstorms going off in British Columbia and some weak troughs over there, and then 1,024 millibar high south of the Panhandle. That high remains about 1,026 or so through the night, but there's some weak troughing and brings finally that stuff, that real moisture and rain is starting to move east and beginning to affect the North Gulf Coast and a little bit on the southern Panhandle there too. A couple of weak troughs through that eastern portion over there, and then dipping down into the North Gulf Coast. Now here's our weather system in the Bering Sea. There's still two lows tonight. One's 1,000 millibars, the other one is about 996 or so, and that's forming up, but with southwest flow aloft and southerly flow aloft in the east, it's still got a lot of precipitation over Alaska. So we're not going to cut off the rain just yet. But then for tomorrow, there's a chance of thunderstorms right along the Alcan, more on the Canadian side than there is on the Alaska side. But nonetheless, I thought I would mention it, especially if anybody is driving over in that area, because still there's a little bit of dry fuel in that area. And then also we have a trough dipping down into the southern part of the Alcan. Also, you can see that there's thunderstorms in British Columbia, and I was just talking to some of the Juneau forecasters, and they're thinking that a little bit more chance that it might move into the southern portion of the Panhandle. In the meantime, we have this low that's out in the Bering Sea. It's consolidated to 995 millibars, has a full occluded front around it, lots of precipitation out ahead of it, lots of wind associated with this system that we'll be talking about mainly in the marine forecast, but certainly gale force. You'll see plenty of 35 and 40 knots with this, which means up to about 45 miles an hour or so. And then still some precipitation along the west coast and all the way up to the north slope. So then for Saturday, that low really deepens as it gets over there and is being supported by the jet stream. 988 millibars off of Cape Newenham with a full occluded front, plenty of precipitation with this system that's going to go all the way up to the north slope. There's also a system up in Siberia that remains to be seen how much that's really going to affect Alaska, but there's another system that is out in the far western Bering Sea south, and that has some tropical moisture, as well as a system that's coming onshore also has tropical moisture in it as well. In the meantime, 1,026 millibar high south of the Panhandle, and the ridge extends all the way up into Prince William Sound, and then 1,010 millibars high, roughly all over the northeast end of the state, with a thermal trough, that is heat-caused low pressure, over into northwestern Canada. So, looking at our low temperatures Friday morning, we've got lots of readings in the 40s. So maybe we're might touch 50 in Anchorage. Also, low temperatures of 50s in and up to 60 in Ketchikan. But as you go out the Aleutians, you've got in the 40s and lower 50s, again with some of that tropical air that's coming up. But our high temperatures on Friday afternoon, looks like we were going to get to about 68 or so for Eagle, all the way up to Fort Yukon. You see a few readings in the 60s, all the way going down to South Central, but with still sunshine in southeast Alaska, those temperatures into the mid-70s for some regions. But you can see that the temperature's already falling in Yakutat, about 65. And then as you get out to the west coast, temperatures in the upper 40s and lower 50s. And then as you go out the Alaska Peninsula with that warm push that's going along with that system, the high temperatures in the mid-50s down to around 50 degrees or so, 52 for the Pribilofs. And then for Saturday morning, lots of readings in the 40s. Might see down to 39 for Utiagavik, and then 50 for Anchorage. Notice that the almost to 60 degrees at Ketchikan, and then lots of readings in the mid to upper 50s for the Panhandle. But as you go out the Alaska Peninsula, again, temperature readings in the 40s. And then for our highs on Saturday afternoon, still 68 for Fort Yukon, a couple of 70s right along the Alcan, but anywhere from the mid-60s up to 70 for the Panhandle. But in the meantime, now that the precipitation is moving in and we have some wind, you'll see up to maybe 60 in South Central, but lots of readings in the 50s all across the west and right down through the Alaska Peninsula and out into the Aleutians. So for our 6 to 10 day forecast for August 14th through August 18th, pretty good chance of below normal temperatures from the southwest. A streak of normal temperatures are most likely from the north slope down through the Panhandle. And then for the northeastern sections of the state, a pretty good chance of above normal temperatures. And the precipitation outlook is a pretty good chance of, at least for half of the mainland, the western half, above normal precipitation, and that tapers off to a little chance of below normal precip for the Panhandle and also for right along the Alcan. And then a similar pattern for the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, August 16th to August 22nd, where you've got a real good chance of below normal temperatures the further south and west that you go. And then as in the northeast, pretty good chance of above normal temperatures also for a portion of the panhandle. And then for precipitation, the western 2/3 of the state, pretty good chance of above normal precipitation, and normal with slightly below normal for some of the panhandle. So that's it for your public forecast. Please stay safe out there.